Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here from what I can tell you has been one heck of an interesting setup for what is going on right now. So I'm in Austin. I'm at the Artifact Conference here. It is a responsive web design conference. That's what I do for a living is responsive web design as a web developer. So we, for the past 23 minutes, have been fighting. Actually, more than that, because we started way before 8 o'clock trying to get all this kinds of stuff set up. It's been an interesting time. As we like to say here, we push the envelope of craziness on the internet and doing web shows of the sort. So I'm actually using my phone. I'm on my computer. I'm trying to make all this stuff happen. What you see behind me is my fantastic hotel room here at the Omni. It's been a great trip so far. So this is Seat Time. It's episode 126. What's going to happen? We're going to have a great time. We got awesome guests coming on. So because of the fact that it is obviously a little awkward with me remoting in, I have asked Jordan Bailey to come back as co-host, which is fantastic that she said yes. 1, 2, that she's willing to put up with us trying to screw with technology and actually make all of this happen. We're going to be talking with ladies like Becca Sheets and Jessica Patterson. It's going to be cool because I think we're going to get an interesting aspect to women racers in such a male-dominated sport as off-road dirt biking, I guess, is. I don't know if it is really, and I think that's one of the things we're going to find out is it really male-dominated, and do women have a place in it, and how are they making that place for themselves? What's really cool is that Jordan has been on multiple times, so she has great opinions. It's going to be really cool to hear how she helps interact with all of these guests. I know she's been working on a lot of questions. So thank you very much, one, for tuning in to Seat Time. Seat Time, you can find us at seattime.co is the website. Of course, we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, Instagram, all of those social networks, if you will. You can connect with us, friend us, like us, tweet us, do all the dirty things that you like to do on social networks that you never tell your parents about. That's why we're here. We enjoy that kind of interaction. It's fun because you can find us on YouTube. If you'd like to catch all of the shows archived, you can find us there. And on Stitcher and iTunes. Those are the fun, fantastic ways to follow the show, listen to the show, and be interactive. If you would like to help out with the show, one way to do that is to support all of the great supporters of this show, guys like Fly Racing, Stillwell Performance, and of course the guys over at Fast Company. We do have a new sponsor that's coming on, but just because of the craziness of this week, I unfortunately could not get all of my notes set up to make that happen. So we will have a new sponsor next week, which is going to be awesome. And later in the show, Jordan is going to have a fun giveaway, and it will be for the ladies. But that doesn't mean if you are a man that you cannot be, or that you won't be excluded, because the thing is if you're a gentleman, you could win this for your lady. Mother's Day is coming up, which means you could fake it and give it to your girlfriend. There's all kinds of ways that you could win this prize that Jordan is going to be giving away and still make it fun for you and more interactive by getting into the chat room, which is tlk.io/seattime, and getting involved with the show. So I can tell you that I have unfortunately talked way too much in this introduction. I'm nervous. I spent way too much time at dinner. The waiter was great, but damn, he didn't bring my check early enough. But I can tell you right now, this has been interesting trying to get all of this set up. So thank you for paying attention to Seat Time. And Jordan, thank you for being on. How is your evening going?
You're welcome. It's been going good. Busy, but school's finally ended today, so everything's good.
Nice. And I know that you and I were going to chat back and forth a little bit about what's going on, but since Becca was luckily enough able to figure out Google Hangouts, which obviously there were quite a few of us who had issues with that, I would like to know as well, Becca, since you're on there already, how's everything going with you?
Everything's going good. Just I had to actually drive to town because I don't have enough service or good enough Wi-Fi for FaceTime or anything.
Love it.
At home.
Love it. Well, you're not the only one. Did you make it to a Starbucks, or what's your Wi-Fi of choice?
I'm actually just using the just my cell service, but there's a Dunkin' behind me.
Nice. That's okay. So Jordan, luckily you and I have not had to go to a Starbucks, but unfortunately with the bad bad luck that we have now experienced, I will be finding a Starbucks next time and not paying as much as I did for the internet service here at the Omni, which sucks. So it's been interesting to say the least. But Jordan, have you been had a chance to ride lately? Do you get to tell us about doing push-ups or being on a dirt bike or something like that?
Actually, we raced the first couple rounds of our local series. I raced the boys class, which was fun, but didn't race the last one or two of them. Busy with school and stuff. So
right.
We bought some kayaks last week, so that's been awesome. We've been getting some sweet arm workouts out at the lake. That's been fun.
So you're saying you're going to beat me at every push-up competition moving forward?
Well, that's the goal.
All right.
Always.
I understand. Becca, do you think that you would be able to beat me at a push-up competition?
I don't know. I don't think I know you well enough to answer that question.
Well, I'm just going to tell you now, these pythons are not sick, and Jordan easily put me to the ground last time, so I'm pretty sure you would have absolutely no issue making sure that my ass was shoved in the ground in a push-up competition.
I would try my best.
All right. That's what we like to hear. Well, I know that Jordan is Becca, did you ever get a chance to race against Jordan, or were you guys not in the same class when she was still able to make it to all the GNCCs?
Yeah, I started GNCCs in 2011. I just raced like 4 of them or something, and Jordan was racing at the time, and I think in 2012, my first full year, she was still racing.
Okay, so if Jordan were to ask you a very embarrassing question, what do you think that question would be?
I have no idea.
All right, so what you're saying is you really don't want to admit anything embarrassing.
I mean, I would if it's not super embarrassing.
Oh no, I know Jordan's kind of been chomping at the bit to co-host here and to really keep me shut, if you will. I do unfortunately have quite a way of unfortunately trying to steal the limelight, if you will. So I know that Jordan does have a lot of questions, and she's definitely willing to give us the go-ahead here to find out more about you ladies, and I'm looking forward to it as well. So Jordan, start this off, kind of get us into Becca, and just like let me know what's going on, because I'm looking forward to learning more from you guys.
Okay, wow, the pressure is on.
Ding, ding, ding! The price is right.
I always say I'm a terrible talker, so y'all please don't judge me. I really am bad at this. I don't know why he keeps letting me come back and do this.
I will judge you all the time.
So, all right, that's a promise. I actually do remember racing Becca a few times in 2011. I feel like almost every race, if you were there, we were lined up on the line next to each other and battling it out. And I mostly remember it because you were on a Yamaha and there weren't that many of us. So I had fun doing that. And I just want to talk about the first 5 rounds so far, Becca. I know some of them have been really muddy. And as a girl rider, I find it more difficult than the guys in the mud, I think, our smaller stature and weaker upper body strength. So tell me about the first couple rounds and I guess the first 5 rounds and how they treated you.
Yeah, we have definitely had some muddy races, and people are always like, oh, are you ready for the mud? And I always tell them, like, it's what we're used to now because we just keep having mud race after mud race. And Florida was good. It was muddy, and it wasn't horrible, but it was weird. It was weird not racing at River Ranch, and the track just got completely spread out because it was so muddy. And I had some clutch issues at that race, so that kind of sucked in the mud. And I don't know. The next few rounds have gone pretty decent, not perfect, and I've had some other bike issues. And actually in South Carolina, I was battling with Mandy and Ashley Copeland, and as I crossed the finish line, my transponder clicked and my bike blew up, and turned out I had like a giant hole in my radiator, and I didn't even know about it. So I've been lucky to finish the 5 rounds in the places that I have, because this is probably my best start to the season that I've ever had since I've been racing GNCCs.
Yeah, if not everybody knows, Becca's sitting second in points. Not that many behind Casey Martinez. She's had some really good results the first 5 races.
Yeah, that's awesome. Becca, I'm excited for that. Yeah, it's cool to see. It's interesting. I feel like we kind of like picked on the KTM guys for a while, and now we're kind of picking on the Yamaha guys, and or guys and gals. And we didn't mean to do that. It's just kind of the way. Like I've like, hey, let's talk to these people, and it just turns out that it was KTM people, and now it's been the blue guys. So it's cool to see you guys getting those Yamahas up there because I know people, even though I'm a KTM fan, I'm not tired of seeing them on the box, but it's good to mix it up. I like it.
Yeah, I would say that there are definitely a lot of KTM racers that race GNCC, and it is nice to have a Yamaha in the top 10. I mean, the top 10 is very broad, but it's nice to see Yamahas finishing in the top 10 almost every race.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely. Becca, have you raced any national enduros or anything like that?
I have never raced a national enduro. My boyfriend, Walker Fowler, he said back when he raced for AmPro in 2008, he said Randy had him do a national enduro, and he said it was the worst experience of his life. So, I've been setting up some tight track at home, and Randy has mentioned to me that he would like me to do a couple this year if I can, and I hope I can because it would be a good experience for me.
I think, Jordan, the question is, have you raced any national enduros?
I have. I raced one in 2011. That might be the only national I've raced. We have the Texas Enduros here, and I've raced several of those, but one national, and I drowned my bike in a river, and that was the end of that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I've drowned my bike in a river too, but it was luckily just on a riding trip with the boys, so they got to make fun of me the entire weekend. It was fantastic.
I did the same thing last year.
At least we all have done that, so
Yeah.
nobody can be too embarrassed.
Yeah.
Becca, tell us a little bit. I know a lot of people looking at us as girl racers. Maybe not a lot of people, but some people think we just show up, we ride on the weekends, and we go home and do our nails again or something like that. Walk us through what it's like to train during the week. Explain to people what your training and riding schedule looks like.
It's usually about the same every week. I just ride as many days as I can. We have tracks we have multiple tracks around here. We have 2 tracks at home, and we have a motocross track here, and so we just ride as much as we can when the weather permits. And the last couple weeks have actually been really crappy and rainy, but we've just been riding in the mud. And after we're done riding, I usually try to go on road bike rides, and over the winter I did a lot of CrossFit, and that's usually all that I do.
Awesome.
How'd you get into CrossFit? What kind of brought you to that realm of training?
My boyfriend and I lived in Florida for the winter, and a couple of the people that we met, they were like, you guys don't know real training, come do CrossFit. They were basically calling us out, so we were like, okay, we'll go do CrossFit, and it was actually something we really enjoyed, and we just did it almost every single day over the winter, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Since you've kind of done it and you kind of know how it is, and I think as a professional racer, you understand your body. And I don't know if that sounds weird or not, but you kind of know how your body works. You know when to push it, you know when not to push it, you know when it's feeling awkward. There's been not a lot of flack, I think, towards CrossFit in our industry, but there is in a lot of other industries with people kind of coming into the CrossFit realm. How do you feel about CrossFit as just a person? And I know you know your body well enough to kind of know how to treat it, but tell us a little bit about maybe some positive or negative experiences with CrossFit so that people out there can kind of learn how to get past, I think, what a lot of people are putting out there.
Honestly, I was kind of scared the first time I went, because anytime I've ever seen anybody do CrossFit, and I know Maria Forsberg did a lot of it, anytime I saw videos of her, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how the heck could I ever do these things? And the place that we went to, I don't know, I think most people see CrossFit as a lot of weightlifting, and there is a lot of weightlifting, but I don't know, our instructor, she just kind of helped us do what we need to do for us, and not, we don't want to bulk up our arms and get super bulky, so she kind of directed us in a way to just kind of make it our own, and we did. And I haven't really had any negative experience with it. I had knee surgery in November, so when I started it, I was only a couple months off of knee surgery, so I was being very careful. And I don't know, I don't know, I like it. I don't really see any negatives in it. It just depends on who you are and what kind of training you like to do.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Yeah, and not that I think that we would have heard that from you, but I just kind of wanted to see if, experiences since you've kind of been involved with it. So cool. No, I appreciate you sharing.
Yep.
Becca, I remember, okay, let's see. Local races, I'm sure you race in local races too. The guys aren't too particular about letting girls by, let's say, lappers or slower riders that start ahead of you. Do y'all experience that very much in the GNCCs or locally? What do you experience with that, being a girl rider?
Locally, I do have some troubles, and we kind of just we've been talking actually lately that I just need to work on passing people without yelling at them, and without revving it up and like, hey, move out of my way, because they hear it's a girl's voice and they want to race. So we've been working on passing people without having to get all crazy, and in the GNCCs. Not usually. I think now that we have been starting on the first row the last couple years, we don't really have as many issues, and the older guys that will come behind us are actually really cool. They'll just be like, woo-woo, and they don't always pass us, but when they do, they're nice about it, and they'll try to ride with us or have us ride with them, and so we don't have a lot of trouble in GNCCs, I don't think.
I don't think that I had too many issues getting passed by you guys when I was racing at Big Buck. And I say that, and obviously I did start behind you guys in the Sportsman A class, and unfortunately petered out after the third lap, which is my own fault. If anybody has any issues about that, go listen to some of the earlier episodes, because we talk about me and my baby hands. But there were a couple ladies, I think, but at the same, that I would catch up to and kind of pass and stuff. But it was fun. Like, it was interesting because I like the fact that you guys as ladies in general, it was just another rider. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to kind of, like, I'm not going to be the person that totally wants to put somebody in the corner, but you just make a pass and keep going. And at the same time, when I started kind of petering out, that's the same thing that happened back to me. Like, this chick with a ponytail just comes whipping on by, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, I'm getting passed again. It happens. It's what it is. So yeah, no, it was awesome, and I hope that you guys can beat me again later on this year.
Yeah, I try to be respectful, because sometimes it's not just us needing to pass somebody, it's somebody needing to pass us, and I know how frustrated I get when I can't get around somebody. So if somebody's coming up behind me and I hear them, I just move out of the way. As much as I hate it, I do.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And Brian, that's good to hear that. I know not everybody, and probably it's just a very small amount of people aren't too thrilled to be passed by y'all as girl riders, but it's good to hear that, the guys think it's cool too, so.
Yeah, it happens, and for me, it's like, man, I honestly did struggle with being slower, when I hit in my 30s and started having a much bigger family and stuff like that. But it's kind of like now, it's like, you know what, with that family and stuff like that, I guess I've gained such more of an appreciation for being able to get on the bike, see guys like y'all at the race, and hang out with you guys, that the race then just becomes another part of the weekend for me, opposed to the sole reason to be there. And so, in that case, it's like, oh yeah, somebody's faster than me, they're faster than me. That's normal now.
Yeah, Becca, what is, I haven't been out to the GNCCs in a couple years, what is the girls who are now on, I guess, factory supported rides or factory rides like yourself, what does it look like on Pro Row for y'all? Are y'all's bikes set up under the tents? What does that look like?
It's pretty cool. It's actually, in the last couple years, I think that the women's class has really grown a lot. And my bike and Jessica's bike are under the tent with Paul's and Jordan Ashburn's, and Casey's is under there with Caleb Russell and Charlie Mullins, and that's pretty much it on Pro Row. And then you have Carlin Beam. She rides for KR4. They're usually down a little further on Pro Row or somewhere close, and she's got her bike set up out there too. And it's really cool to see all the girls and our posters and everything. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome to see y'all mixed in with the guys and getting the kind of support that the girls need. There's not as many girls out there, but y'all ride and train just as hard, so it's awesome to see y'all getting that recognition and getting out there on Pro Row with the guys under the tents. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, does now that there is it seems like there might be a little bit more support for the lady side of things, especially with the way that Maria Forsberg was able to get so much support from KTM. Now Casey Martinez, ladies like Becca Sheets. Does any of that kind of put a fire under you to want to get back out there and be like, hey, man, I want some of that under the tentness?
Oh, man. That would be awesome. I don't know. It'd be awesome to be back out there racing GNCCs. We, like I said, we raced a couple local rounds here. It was fun. It's just not the same as the GNCCs, and until we can afford it and do it right, I try not to think about it too much because I do want to be out there, and I want to be under the tent and racing with these girls. So I try not to think about it right now. It's like focus on school, and then maybe we'll get out east and be able to do it again.
Well, if we ever start a seat time racing team, I'll be the slowest guy, and I'll let you be the fastest woman.
Well, first I got to get faster than you. You make yourself sound to be slow, but you're not that slow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's funny that we say that because I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the episode where I did refer to my baby hands at Big Buck, but I got some recognition for the fact that KTM grips suck and they tear up your hands from a viewer. And he tweeted us, and I was like, hell yeah, I retweeted the crap out of it because I was like, I'm telling you, like, I know I have baby hands, but at the same time, those grips suck. So I was like, yeah, bring it.
Maybe they'll be able to change those now. Seat time enforced.
Yeah. If they don't, that's okay. I'm bringing my Renthals with me to the next race.
Get the knife out, cut them off.
Yeah, I don't know if you've got the chat room up, but I think I see a question in there. I've got my phone covering it right now.
Okay, so what's the next step for the women's class? What needs to be done to get it to grow further and gain support?
I mean, a lot of people say, like, if you want to be treated like the guys, you got to race with the guys. And in many ways, I agree with that. And while I do appreciate the support we have, I really don't know how much more we could have. Not every person can be factory, just like not every guy can be factory. And I don't know. I don't really know what the next step is. We start front row, and we've got girls on pro row, and I think the sport as a whole is going really good for women right now.
I have to agree. I see it moving in a direction that's really good. Like you said, how much more can we really ask for? I was actually going to ask if you thought that we would have to race the men's classes in order to get real recognition. I noticed Hannah Otto is racing the National Enduros, and she's racing the 250B class instead of the women's class, which I thought was really cool. And I kind of want to talk to her and see what her thinking in that was, if she's doing that to get faster and just because she thought it would be fun, or if she thought that that's the way that we're going to have to, that y'all are going to have to go in order to get the recognition that you deserve.
Go
ahead.
I mean, I could see why she wants to race that class. I mean, I've never done an enduro, but I can definitely see racing with the guys makes you faster and a better rider. And like at local races, even if it's like a bigger local race, not just a small town local race, I always race with boys just because it's better to just be up there with faster people that you can learn from.
I think Hannah Otto was actually racing as well the heavy A class this past winter in our tour series, which Jordan, you know well, you've raced that quite a few times, done really well there, and she did fairly well. When you guys are back talking, I'll go ahead and do some searching and make sure I can figure out where she ended for the year. But I know that I talked to her and I was like, "Why are you racing in the heavy A class? Just be honest." And she was like, "Well, regardless of what it is, there's just more competition here." And I asked her, I was like, well, more competition in the fact that you're faster than all the ladies, or more competition in the fact that there's more bodies? Because what do you mean? And she literally was like, there's more bodies. It's there. Here I have more competition because if I can make a small mistake, or if I make a small mistake, 5-6 people can get past me. Where, if she's just racing in the women's class where they're a little bit closer with less people being as close to her, it's not as competitive. So, I don't know if any of that translates to the GNCCs because I haven't been able to keep up with you guys, obviously, in that aspect of the racing. So, but I just thought it was an interesting reason for the, kind of why she made that decision. And definitely, in the physical sense, I didn't do it, but I definitely give her a pat on the back for getting out there, because that class is a kick-ass class in Texas for sure.
Yeah, that class is fast. I saw in the National Enduro, she's actually sitting third in the 250B class, which I thought was really impressive, with a third, fifth, and sixth at the first 3 rounds. Yeah. There seems to be quite a few riders in that class also.
Hannah Otto is a very great rider, and it's kind of sad to see that she's not racing the GNCC series this year, but I fully understand you guys all live in Texas, and that's a really long way to go for all the rounds.
Yeah, it's a nice travel.
I would get tired of it.
We need to get I think what we're going to have to wind up doing is, because, like I said, Steven and I did the KR4 Arrive and Ride adventure, which we're still working on the video for, unfortunately. But hey, that's what life's all about. I wonder if we could wind up partnering and trying to get like X amount of Texas people to say, cool, let's do the Arrive and Ride thing, and like that way we would say we get 10 people signed up, and they could give us like a huge discount for like having X amount of Texas people signed up to make it to GNCCs, because we've got fast guys. And I think with a little bit more national practice, they could do pretty good. And fast ladies, obviously. We're talking about Hannah Otto. It could be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. And get some Texas people out, because like you said, we have really fast riders in Texas, and I know some of them will go to a GNCC here and there and test it out. But until you're really racing them consistently, sometimes the results don't come. It's a much different pace, much different style of racing than we have back home, so that'd be neat to see those guys get out there.
Becca, how did you kind of decide, and when did you decide to go do GNCC racing? Obviously Jordan and I at this point we're talking about Conotoro, and we've mentioned TCCRA. Those are our local Texas bits that she grew up in and I have come into. But what about yourself? Like, what's your local area like, and then how did that kind of translate into you deciding to go national, if you will?
Well, actually, I grew up racing motocross, and I did a lot of amateur national stuff, and I kept getting hurt, and just like little stupid things, crashes, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to college and get a job, and I'll just race when I can, whatever, and then I met Walker Fowler, if you know who that is, quad guy.
No!
And I met him at a motocross camp, actually, in Ohio, and I lived in Columbus at the time, and people, like, I just met some of his friends, and we started dating, and he was like, why don't you do a GNCC? And I'm like, I can't, like, that just scares me. Like, people would say that I would break my bike, and I just have, like, I would have so much money into it, and so finally I just broke down, and I raced. The Penton was my first one, and it was a lot of fun. It completely sucked for me. Like, I had huge blisters on my hand. I didn't know about undergloves. I was like, I don't need a Camelback. I'm good. I don't need to drink water. Well, I stopped every lap for water, and I don't know. It was just the longest 2-hour race of my life, and I really enjoyed it. And I saw that there was quite a few girls and a lot of competition, and it was something that I wanted to keep doing, and so I did.
Right. Well, it's funny you just mentioned that coming from motocross, going to GNCC racing. Here's a good chance for us to get your opinion on some of the pro racers out there. How do you think Ryan Sipes is doing with his Chapter 2 of his race career, coming from being a professional motocross supercross rider, easily a top 10 any weekend, if not better, to, struggling sometimes to be in the top 10 at GNCC?
I really feel for him. I actually have been watching his little YouTube videos, and it was really hard for me to just kind of jump in and do good. Like, I think my first race I got 6th, but there wasn't very many girls, and I just kind of looked out on that one. And but it sucked for me. Like, the first year of racing, like, I was not very good, and I would crash a lot, like more than I would ever crash in anything. Like, I just fall over on stupid things, and so I understand what Ryan's going through, and it just takes a lot of practice to get used to the trees and dodging trees and lap riders and things like that.
Yeah. What about Jordan? I know you've kind of been following and watching and stuff and seeing how Ryan's doing. You got any thoughts or opinions?
It's a different style of racing. Even, like I said, going from a local race, really anywhere in the country, to GNCC style, and I'm sure it's even crazier going from motocross or outdoor nationals to GNCC.
Yeah.
The time itself, like they're out there for 3+ hours, that's got to be huge. Ryan Sipes, even though outdoor nationals are gnarly and long and hard, and I'm sure very, very physically demanding, 3 hours is a long time on a bike, and you got to be strategic about that. I'm sure that's new for him. It's a big mental game, I'm sure, to be out there that long, and it's just new. I think if we see him next year, then I think we'll start to see results get even better as the years go on.
Yeah. I think I just saw that he updated, oh my gosh, I want to say it's a boy, the new baby that they have on the way. I know they posted the gender, and unfortunately, of the 50-50 guess that I have, I'm going to say it's a boy.
I saw that too. I think it is a boy.
Okay. So I get it. And what I've seen, and having talked to a couple people in his pits and stuff like that, it's much easier to do off-road racing, be it GNCCs, OMAs, stuff like that, as a family, I think. Sure, GNCC racing, we'll just use that as an example, is not as big. They're not at stadiums. They're not in the sense where they need to have this pit party where everything needs to be 110% professional because they've got all the fans walking around and looking at all this stuff. And I think that that's probably a lot better for him right now. And I think you can tell the guy obviously knows how to ride. He's got that down. He knows how to train. He's just learning right now. And I think, and I kind of spoke to this when we had the preseason show, that I thought Ryan Sipes was going to do really good. I thought he was going to do a little bit better than he's doing right now, but he's got so much to learn in the sense, I think that there's so much more to off-road racing opposed to just doing the same training but then think, oh, I'm going to ride longer. Like there's way more to it than that, and I think he's learning that, and I think sometime after the break is probably when we're going to really start to see rides from him that are going to be, competing in the top 3 opposed to maybe in the top 5, if not a little bit further back.
I agree.
You're like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So,
I
go
will
ahead.
also add that you mentioned the whole family thing. That is one thing that drew me to GNCC racing. The people that were at the races are much more, I don't really know how to explain it, but I really like the atmosphere a lot better than motocross.
Cool. And you've obviously coming from motocross, that means a lot, in the sense that you've been, it sounds like that's kind of maybe more where you grew up doing, is a little bit more motocross and coming from that. So, yeah, sorry. Now that I'm on my phone having to do this and stupid notifications are popping up all over the place, it's like, oh, yeah, I'd love to be distracted by this thing and to see what happens. So, Walker Fowler, that's your boyfriend.
Yes.
How long has that been going on?
I would say almost 3 years.
And no ring, huh?
No.
Man.
Pressure.
I keep waiting for the first proposal on Seat Time, but unfortunately I just can't seem to make that happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, well, since it's not
please don't let that happen.
since it's not going to happen, then I figure it's okay to at least ask, what would maybe be an awesome, embarrassing moment that has happened to Walker Fowler that would make a lot of us giggle and laugh and talk about on the internet?
Like as far as racing, or
you can go out on a limb here. We're fine with that.
I don't really know. I'm not trying to be I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that's really embarrassing for him. He doesn't really get embarrassed, I don't think.
It's like Travis Pastrana. He just does it, and whatever people think, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's quite Travis Pastrana, but
hey, he is in my heart.
I've got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought.
I was just going to say, I don't even know if he's watching, so if I had something, I would tell you, but I don't.
Becca, what is it like to have a boyfriend who is a professional racer? And you being a professional racer also, like, what is the relationship like in training and stuff like that?
In many ways it's good because we ride together and we train together, and I actually live with him, and it's nice because he has all the tracks here, and we get to ride whenever we want, basically, and it's cool because we can both push each other, and then in some ways it's annoying because we're both always like I don't want to say the center of attention, but we're both like always kind of doing our own thing at the GNCCs. Like he's got his day Saturday, and then I have my day Sunday, and I don't even know how to explain it, but it's interesting. It's weird. I don't think I've ever met anybody else that has. Well, I guess Casey, her boyfriend, raced, but I don't know. It's weird because he rides quads and I ride dirt bikes, and I don't know. You get it.
Ooh, that is a fun discussion right there. Quads versus bikes, girlfriend versus boyfriend on the whole different type of number of wheels. How is that? Is there any kind of dynamic that's interesting there?
Well, something that's funny, I always said growing up, because I race motocross, I'm like, psh, people that race quads are complete goons, and, they don't belong racing. And then I met him, and I actually met him riding dirt bikes, if that's any consolation. He rode dirt bikes, but, I don't know, we don't really, it's cool because we always race after the quads, for GNCCs, and so our track is quad ruts. And so I get a lot of quad rut practice. But I don't know, it's not really like a feud. Like people are always like nuke the quads suck, but I don't really care. I give them a lot of credit because I've tried to race a quad and it is not as easy as it seems. It's scary.
Yeah, I think it would be scary too. I couldn't get on one. I'd be too terrified. Not my thing. That's interesting though to think about y'all being opposite in that way, but I mean the racing is still. I know my husband raced the Open A class at the GNCCs when I raced, and it's an interesting relationship. They push you really, really hard. I'm sure you know that, and but I don't know. You're dating, so they can't hate you forever if you suck.
Sorry, I'm in all this this sharing mode here with Twitter. So Jordan, give us a little bit more information about this. Maybe what we can do is we can talk to Becca, and Becca can give us a good way of what she thinks that somebody could try to win this fly racing swag that we're giving away on the show tonight.
Swag.
All right. Should I say what it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I gotta pull it up here. Fly has sent me a tank top for a girl. It's the diamond tank top in white. It's pretty freaking sweet looking. So obviously it's for a girl, unless, I don't know, I guess a dude could wear it if he wanted, but it's not a pro tank.
It is not
a pro tank. So we need a way. I'm on the chat, and I asked if anybody has any girlfriends, wives, sisters, cousins, besties that are ladies. Or I guess a dude that would want to wear a lady's tank.
If you will.
So, I think we should make it a competition, though, because I'm all about competition. No free handouts here.
Right?
So, Becca, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, what's a good competition, Becca? A good social competition. Like
yes.
If we're talking with the chat room here. We'd love to get them involved, but maybe if anything in the chat room doesn't do it for us, if you will, we could even go to Twitter and go that far to get social, if you will.
To get social. I don't know. I'm not a good competition picker. I have no idea. What do people, like, does it need to be like a knowledge thing? Like, oh, if you know this, you can win this tank top, but if you don't know it, you're not going to win.
Or what if, Jordan, you turn your laptop camera down and do as many push-ups as you can right now, and the first person to send us a video of doing more push-ups of you could win.
Oh,
I mean, you can say no. I'm just saying that's a
That's
thought.
a good one.
Becca, you only say that because you're in a car.
I know I can't participate. People will look at me really funny.
That's true. Man, I have not done a push-up in a really long time. I'm going to be real. I've been really lazy. So this could just be really embarrassing on my part.
Oh, well, you're more than welcome to come up with a better idea.
Wait a second. So what if it's a guy trying to win the tank top for the girl, and they're
Ooh,
just
that's
like
true.
super buff, and they can just knock out 80,000 push-ups like it's nothing.
Well, I know I can't do that, but it could happen with other people.
All right, I think. Oh gosh. Okay, let's do it. I've done a push-up competition on every show. Why change it now?
Hey!
All right, Cooper, I'm gonna need you.
Come hither.
All right, now I'm gonna have Cooper do push-up. No, I'm just kidding.
I would like to call my stand-in.
Oh man, my room's a mess.
All right, Becca, all right, now while Jordan gets set up, Becca and I are going to talk about how many pictures we think you're actually going to do. So how many push-ups do you think she's got in her?
I'm gonna say, I don't want to be mean, but I'm sorry if I'm overestimating.
Don't guess many. Don't guess many.
Okay. I don't know, 50.
Oh
Wait,
my gosh, that's a lot of push-ups.
That's a lot of damn push-ups.
Does she get any breaks, or do these all have to be like?
Oh no, she just goes.
And we're talking like CrossFit style, right? Like
Chest
to
to
the
ground.
floor. Oh,
That's
man,
what I was wondering. Are you gonna do CrossFit? Like,
I think
chest on the
CrossFit
ground?
push-ups are the only fair way to go.
I would say, yeah, no. Are you going to be? You're not on your knees, are you? Or you're not going to be?
No, I won't be. I can't do very many not on my knees. All right, people in the chat room, should we have this on Twitter too? Just the chat room.
I think while you're doing your push-ups, I'll put it to Twitter.
Okay, I have to take my headphones off.
Yeah, we're gonna watch. Don't you worry.
Balls. Okay. CrossFit push-ups, not on my knees. This is gonna be embarrassing.
Who's counting?
Who's counting? We need George. Count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's it. I'm tapped out.
Where are we at?
We're at 47.
Liar.
I saw it. 47.
47.
All right, I'm trying to make a tweet here for the Fly Racing tank top giveaway.
I wasn't joking when I said I've been really lazy.
That's fine. That's okay. We're allowing you to be lazy. Okay. Now, while I go ahead and send out this tweet, Becca, I want you to talk about how poor her form was, or maybe how good it was, and then
It was terrible.
we want to hear about your experience working out for the first time in forever, Jordan.
I would say that your form looked good to me.
Thanks, Becca. You're very sweet. My experience working out just now, that was rough, y'all. I did CrossFit over the winter for like 2 months maybe, and then I quit because I'm a weenie. As you can all see.
It doesn't ever get any easier.
I know, that's the problem. You leave sore and you can't walk, always. I'm like, okay, when will I feel
I
my
had
legs
many
again?
of those.
Well, how much? Here's a good question for you guys on that. How much time do you spend, like maybe rolling out or really stretching and trying to make sure that you're kind of like, as it's not really lactic acid, but we'll just call it that because it's easy, like working out the lactic acid, the buildup, in your muscles, it's making you sore.
I would say that any other workout that I've ever done, I've never stretched as much as I have for CrossFit. Like, it's very, very important to stretch before and after CrossFit.
What, Becca, do you do any like warm up and stuff before the race of the GNCC, stretching and warm up?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Not really. Like, we've kind of talked about it, that I'm kind of like a spaz before the race, and we need to bring the bicycle, and you need to be on the trainer for like 10 minutes before you go to the line so you can calm down, but that hasn't happened yet. Maybe I'll try it this weekend.
Nothing like a race to try new stuff out.
Yeah. Gotta do it sometime.
That's right. How's it going, Brian?
Oh, good. I'm trying to get the dude. I bought the high-end package for whatever from this hotel, and I can't even get a damn tweet to go out. So somebody's going to have a conversation with somebody at the lobby when this show is over about how shitty this has all worked out for me this evening. It's kind of pathetic, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm going to get that tweet out when I can, though, for sure. But I think, Becca, I want to know, as we kind of close up here, and we're gonna get ready to do with to have Jessica Patterson on. I wanted to know, Endurocross just started. We saw Casey Martinez win there. We're going to be coming to the East Coast again, coming to Atlanta. Are you going to be planning to participate in the Endurocross when it comes to Atlanta? And if not, or if you are, what are you kind of thinking about the series and the women involved, in Endurocross right now?
I am actually not planning on doing any Endurocross. I really haven't had an opportunity to practice Endurocross or build an Endurocross track. And it's something that I really want to do, and it's something I want to be good at, and it's also very expensive. So until I have the funds and the practice in, I will not be doing any Endurocross. But I think it's good for the women. I think they're getting a lot of exposure, especially with X Games and just the whole Endurocross series in general.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, so let's dive into that a little bit. That's actually pretty good. What is the setup cost for you to do Endurocross?
I have no idea.
You just know it's too much?
Yeah. I don't know. I just really haven't had the time or opportunity. Like, it has just not presented itself to me, so I haven't really put a lot of thought into it.
I could see a lot of the costs probably coming from travel.
Yeah, that's most of it.
The races are, a lot of them, I think, on the West Coast. Is that correct, Becca? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Brian,
I believe
if you know the
so.
schedule.
Yeah.
They're far.
I think the biggest is it's since the Atlanta round is August 23rd. That's fairly close to where everybody goes. In the GNCCs. And I figure since Atlanta, Georgia, you guys, the Am Pros, just a little bit away, kind of. Is it South Carolina or North Carolina where Randy's based out of?
He's in South Carolina.
Okay. I mean, that's obviously it's not next door, but it's fairly close. It might be able to make that work out. I'd love for you guys to make it because I think for so long I remember when the Endurocross was coming to Oklahoma. It was fantastic. I went and did the sportsman class. Hell yeah, I got my ass kicked, but it was fun. It was something different, and it's a new way to get out there and ride your dirt bike and get made fun of. I'm totally into all of that. But I think now that the series for so long became a West Coast series, obviously we get that, that's where they filled the numbers and they needed to make money. But now that we're getting a chance to compete again, now that East Coasters are going to get a chance to compete again, I want to see them there. Because if somebody from the East Coast can go out there and kick everybody's butt, women's class, men's class, amateur class, whatever, I want them to realize that that's what needs to happen. They need to keep the series not coast specific and try to make sure that people can get to these races. And if racers can't make it, then they need to find a way to help them. Because the series is only going to last, obviously, if they have racers. But so, I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I what am I crazy?
No, I don't think you're crazy. I know Jessica is planning on doing I don't know if she's planning on doing the whole series. I know she's doing X Games, and I know she just went to Vegas. And I guess they just built a whole Endurocross track at Randy's farm. Unfortunately, I don't get to hang out there a lot because I have things to do here at home. But yeah, I think it's cool, and I think she's kind of a West Coast person, but she lives on the East Coast now. So if she does them all, that's good. It's bringing an East Coast person to them.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm really hoping that I can find a way to make it out there for that event. It's unfortunately the weekend right after the TKO, and I already told a couple of people that I'd go to the TKO, so I might be losing my weekend race pass in August to to head to the TKO opposed to heading to Atlanta. So we'll have to see how because Liam will have just turned 2, Nora will have just turned 6 months, Kaylin's just turned 8 this past weekend, so my kids are getting older, and my wife will kill me if I continue to disappear for all these races. So.
Yeah, that's a good call. Are you going to go to the X Games, Brian? It's in Austin.
Yes, actually, I have already bought tickets. I bought 2 3-day passes. So I'm taking my daughter, my 8-year-old Kaylin. We're going to go together. and watch all the endurocross and stuff. She goes to the races with us now, so she when she rides, so she's totally. I wouldn't say she's into the scene, but what I am lucky enough about is she likes hanging out with me, and so I think she'll have fun because we'll have fun together. And I just hope that I think it should be fun for her. At 8, she may be a little young for a full day at the X Games and then seeing all that stuff, but we'll make it work.
That's awesome.
Well, cool. Well, Becca, any last words, any other comments, thoughts, or things like that as we kind of wrap this up and let you get back to your home and leave your cell network behind?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, what do you think? I mean, obviously things didn't go as planned on our end, and we apologize for that, of course, profusely. But first time on Seat Time, was it horrible?
No, it's not horrible. I had fun.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Not horrible. That's key.
Yeah. What do you think, Jordan? Can we let her go?
Yeah, I think so. We'll let her get home and away from her cell phone service.
Right.
Thank you.
Sometimes that's better for everybody. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Well, I know with the way that the season's been going for you, we're going to talk to you a little bit more, and we really appreciate you sharing and kind of showcasing some of the stuff that you as a lady go through in a sport that I would say feels fairly male-dominated in the sense of just the way it is. It just feels that way. So we appreciate that for sure.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, good luck as races come up and keep coming on. And Loretta's this weekend, so good luck at that for sure.
Thank you.
Good luck, Becca. Keep killing it.
I'll try my best. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so we're going to go at Steven, who is actually at my house in McKinney, Texas, is going to go ahead and get try to get Jessica Patterson set up here in this hangout that we've got going on across the country. I definitely want to say big thanks to Fly Racing and to all of our supporters. For those of you who don't know, Fly Racing is a fantastic supporter of not just the show, Seat Time, but of course of all off-road sports. Huge supporters of guys like Andrew Short, Trey Kennard, and I think it says a lot. Those guys are super classy dudes. They're big family guys, and it says a lot about what Fly Racing is as well. They're not just a huge supporter of the sport, but they live, breathe, and are completely involved in all aspects of dirt bike racing. The life and what we live and how we do what we do and all the racing that goes on. So if you haven't ever checked out flyracing.com, please go check out their website, check out all the gear that they have to offer. They did just release a lot of new spring gear. Obviously, they have things like the casual wear, like Jordan is going to be working on giving away here shortly, to some video people that can give us some awesome push-up competitions, if you will. But yeah, we definitely appreciate all their support. You wear Fly gear, don't you there, Jordan?
I sure do.
Yeah, what do you
Proudly.
think?
It's the best stuff ever.
Did you get any of the new spring gear, the new kinetic mesh they just released?
I have not, but in Texas, that is a must buy because it gets like 1,000,000 degrees here. So that'll be the next purchase is the new mesh gear. Do you have it?
Oh yeah, I have. Dale sent me some of the new mesh gear, and it's awesome.
Awesome.
I'm super excited. And Fly was super nice enough to put my new logo on the back too. I had our friend Brian Vorel over at Vorel Designs, which you can find at voreldesign.com, was nice enough to design me a logo for Purveyor of Awesome. I don't think we have that in stock, if you will, but to get that set up and show you guys. But there's pictures on Instagram and all that kinds of stuff of when it came in, so you can go see that. Super cool, those guys. We do have other supporters of Seat Time, which we would love for you to go check out. Another one of those guys is Fast Company. So if you go to fastco.com, over there, what you're going to find out about is what we say are the best handlebars out there, especially for off-road. You don't see too many guys racing on motocross, and I think it's because of the fact that they just haven't really broken into that market very much. You see a lot more guys ride them in off-road, a lot of like the Dirtwise guys. You see a lot of them wear them. We did have Dustin Malicote, who is in the chat room typically and watching the show. He just had his first experience on flex bars because he was riding Jason Thomas's bike at one of the Dirtwise schools. Loved him. Tweeted about how he's going to buy him because of the fact that he heard about him on Seat Time, how much we talk about, how much I enjoy riding on them, how much Jason Thomas likes them, rode him on his bike, still hates the KTM stock grips, which you should because they suck. But I think it goes to show that they make a great product, and those flex bars really do help you last longer, if you will. And if there's anything in life that we want to do, it's last longer while riding our dirt bike. So yeah, and then what I find fun too is they also have a torque spoke wrench, and that took out a lot of the guessing. My dad taught me when I'm truing, I wouldn't say truing up, but checking everything that's going on with the bike is take a wrench and you kind of ding on the spokes to see if they sound like they're all tensioned the same. Now, I mean, that's how you would tune a drum, but I don't know if that's the best way to make sure that your wheel is true or up to spec. So it's something like a torque spoke wrench is definitely the way to go, which you can find as well through the guys over there at Fast Company. So fastco.com is the website where you can find more about those guys. We definitely appreciate their support of Seat Time. We couldn't be doing this without all of our great supporters. So as we kind of wait to see if we can get Jessica on here, Jordan, we get a chance now to kind of talk about what's been going on. So what have you been up to? A lot of school is what I'm hearing?
Yeah, mostly school. I'm a full-time student, and that pretty much takes over most of my life right now. I still have several more years to go to get my degree. I started late because we were racing.
Right.
But semester's over, which is awesome, and I feel like I should be out celebrating, but I don't celebrate. I just sleep. So
which is okay.
Sleep's in my future.
One of the things that I was thinking about that I didn't get a chance to ask Becca, unfortunately, but I can ask you, is say when it comes to bike setup and things of that nature, as a woman who does that, do you find that listening to what might be traditional setups for someone like your husband, like if your husband's like, oh, I run my bars like this, I run my suspension like this, does any of that knowledge just not work for you because you're a woman, or does it not work for you because you're just a different person and you ride different?
Well, if we compare mine to my husband's, it would just be because he has the weirdest setup ever.
Oh.
But me compared to most guys, my setup, handlebar-wise and stuff, I would say is pretty average. I like, let's say, levers and stuff. I notice mine are a little bit different than other riders in that I have them very even with the bars. Really the biggest thing I think for girls is suspension. Most of us are very light, and suspension's got to be light to work for us. I struggled a lot with my suspension, getting it right. Factory Connection finally got me set up really well. It just took way lighter springs than anyone could thought that it needed. But I think suspension is really the biggest thing for girls. Handlebars and stuff, I listened when I rode for the AmPro team in 2011. I listened to them and their suggestions, and that was what was best for me, and they take those off of the guy riders. So other than suspension, really, I think if we keep it as close to theirs as possible, they know what they're doing, and we don't ride that different than them. We're just a little bit weaker and a whole lot lighter.
Right. So one of our other supporters, which I haven't really mentioned yet, that we can get into a little bit later, is Stillwell Performance. So for those of you that are like, oh, yeah, suspension, oh, my gosh, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I don't know what's going on, my bike is bouncing around, it's so awkward, and you have questions, if nothing else, stillwellperformance.com. You can just go to that website and ask questions, what I think is awesome, because a lot of times people are like, oh, man, this guy wants me to go there and buy something. Actually, I don't. I want you to go there and talk to them about suspension if you have any questions and things like that, because of the fact that I know they're knowledgeable, I know they have answers, and I know that they're going to be able to respond to you and tell you what they think. Now, if that then translates into some kind of point of sale, that's awesome. That means you trust them and you think that they're the ones that are going to be able to fix what you have, the problem that you are having. So that's what I would ask, is it's stillwellperformance.com. You go there, use their little contact us form, and be like, I was listening to Seat Time, and they said that you could help out with suspension problems. Yes, they can. They helped me out, and it was awesome, and they've done a really good job. So I think that it's the place to be. Somebody is in the chat room. Brian, how's traffic going through Dallas? I think it's taking us on Interstate 30. Got to go through on my way to Loretta Lynn's. Casey Green? Does Casey Green sound familiar to you?
To me?
Yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah, I don't know.
Casey, where are you coming from?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, too. She's going through Dallas, so maybe through Austin or maybe from down south, I would guess, because going through Dallas off of Interstate 30. No, they're coming from the west. Right?
Yeah, don't ask me, and I'm not good with direction.
I don't know either. So, yeah, well, hopefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes we can find out if Jessica's going to be able to join us. If she can't, we'll make sure that we can get her on next week. There's no need to stay on if that's not going to happen. But I want to know what you kind of thought about some of the endurocross stuff that happened this past weekend in Vegas.
I thought it was awesome. One thing that I noticed was the track looked extremely technical.
Oh, yeah?
And which, of course, comes with endurocross, but it seems like sometimes the track seems a little motocrossy. In this one, I noticed, and I even read that some people commented that it's a lot less motocrossy and that the people with trials backgrounds seem to maybe be able to do better at these, which I don't know if the men's results, Mike Brown, who usually dominates, he was a little bit lower in results than expected, and we had like Tadej Plazusiak up there in, I think, third place.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the girls felt of it, because obviously it's usually more difficult for the girl riders, and I was interested to talk to Jessica and see kind of what her thoughts were on it.
Yeah, and I know I saw a cool picture I think that Rachel Gudish had shared of her kind of like wheeling over. I think it was Mandy Maston. It looked like that was down on the ground that she was trying to just not kill.
Yeah, I saw that picture. That was awesome.
That was pretty interesting to say the least. But yeah, I mean, it's cool, and I'm glad that that's the case. I do remember for a little while there, it was seeming to get a little fast, a little less technical. And maybe some motocross aspects had been more so were being brought in. But I think having watched the Vegas finale from last year and now what they've brought this year, dude, that wooden peak thing they had set up, dude, I mean, there was no way to hold back. I mean, you had to just grab your balls and be like, I'm up and I'm over, because if you thought about it for a second, you were going to die.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it, and I thought to myself, well, if I was there racing that, I would have saw that on track walk and said, nope, that's it. I'm out. We're going home.
Yeah.
Because that is not look fun.
Yeah, for me, I totally would be like, if somebody, say we showed up at Munster and somebody was like, check out the craziness I've built, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go play on that. That's it. If anybody were to try to put me in a race situation like that where you're like bumping elbows, no.
No, pass.
Yeah, that's where, I mean, and so, though I'm not going to go off and run and do it, pay money to go do that, I'm glad they're doing it, because I think that is showing that they're definitely trying to showcase, the more technical side of endurocross.
Absolutely, and I mean, I'm not saying that the other tracks weren't difficult, because I would not be able to crawl through them probably, and I know that they're much more difficult than they look on TV or anything of that sort or in pictures. But I like to see that it's even more challenging looking and more gnarly, and I think that wows people who don't know much about the sport even more.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like I've heard anything, and Steven hasn't been able to get back to me. So I kind of want to know what you think we should do. What do you think we should do, Jordan? I'm going to go with what you've got to say. I mean, you have done push-ups on the show, so I mean, you definitely had a lot to do.
Oh man, I'm not sure. I don't think I can make those kind of calls.
Yeah, you don't think so? Oh yeah. All right. Well, Jordan, here's the deal. I want you. What is something fun and interesting motorcycle related? I'm drawing a blank here. Tell me about the most fun GNCC track that you've ever raced.
Ooh, okay. Okay, hang on. I have to think here. Most fun. Okay. Oh man, this is a close tie because I really, really, really enjoy Unadilla. I don't know what it is about that place. Maybe I just didn't get stuck somewhere there, so that's why it's in my memory as it was so much fun. But I loved that place. And then the second closest would be Crawfordsville, and that's because the dirt is always awesome, and in Texas we don't get good dirt, so any place that has awesome dirt is usually fun. So both those places I'd say were my favorite GNCC tracks. Ooh, and I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, was that me?
I know a lot of people in Texas are headed to Loretta's, I think, this weekend. I've never been a
You haven't been a fan?
I've never been a fan of Loretta's. I don't know why, but I don't prefer that track as a GNCC track. But it's the closest one to Texas, so I see why everybody wants to go to it. I mean, it's
we do have a lot of Texas people going. So what are some of the big things that you don't like about that track?
The dirt is not all that awesome, and the like gravel whoop.
Whoa.
I think we have a guest.
Jessica, are you there?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? So are you in your car as well?
Yeah. 1 sec, hold on.
You got it.
A little confusing, but we figured it out.
Hey man, this is pushing the limits of technology.
Yeah.
It's always a good time. Yeah, we try to just have as much fun with this as we can and get everything set up and try to get set up beforehand. And of course, nothing ever goes to plan, so we just wing it and see what happens and create a show out of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Half the fun
Usually
is
what I do is I just...
half the fun is just seeing if it works out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's cool. What's going on?
Oh man, not too much. I mean, we're just going at it here. So tell us, I know you just got back in town, so were you coming back from Vegas?
Yeah, I actually went there and did a little bit of, checked out the Endurocross action and Supercross, and then coming back now, we have a GNCC this weekend, so get ready for that.
And Loretta Lynn's. So has anybody kind of told you what the track's like and like what the property's like? I don't know if you've raced there before.
No, never raced there before, but yeah, I've heard from a few people. It's kind of a little bit rocky, and you go through some different creek beds and stuff, and then I don't know. It's supposed to be raining, so that always adds a twist into everything.
Yeah, I was talking to Trevor Bollinger, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago when we did a press release for him after after Limestone, and he said that if it was muddy, he would probably enjoy it more than if it was dry. So
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. I've never raced there. I've been there twice, but I have no idea what the track's like. Jordan was just telling us that she didn't enjoy it that much, so she might have some advice for you.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have much advice. I would have to agree that wet Loretta's is probably better than dry Loretta's. But I have this one vivid memory of it being very wet one year and come up to this one hill, and it was just a waterfall coming down the hill. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm supposed to go up this? Like the water's like rushing down. So it's fun. Of course, GNCs are always fun. Just some of us have least favorite tracks and more favorite tracks.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Georgia was muddy anyway, so it was like that. There's like water rushing around, and it was pretty gnarly. So it seems like we've been getting our fair share of mud races. So regardless, I guess we'll be ready for it.
Yeah, all the bike prep you've learned is now a chance to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Jessica, tell us a little bit about the Endurocross that you just raced. We were talking a little bit about it and the technicality of it. How do you think? How technical was it? And as a ladies rider, do you think it was more difficult than past ones seem to be, or about the same?
Well, this was my first one. I actually got the call to kind of be invited to X Games. So I kind of just started preparing for it. I had a track built at home and had, maybe a good 5 days on it before I showed up. And I thought my track was pretty gnarly, not ever really doing it before and stuff like that. And I started to get the hang of it, and I was like, oh, this stuff's not going to be too bad. And then show up in Vegas, and it was completely opposite of what I even thought. I mean, it's different because it was in a tighter course, but everything was a little bit bigger also than I have. So it was gnarly and horrible. Like for me, like I didn't do that well. I qualified, so I guess that was good. But me, I expect to do a little better. But I don't know. It was just challenging for sure, but I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot from it, and at least now I have a month to get ready for X Games and be more prepared.
Man, that's good. Yeah, that's a way to jump in feet first for sure. Is just to get a call and start trying to ride. So what did tell us about? We saw pictures of the track and we've seen a little bit of video. Unfortunately, we didn't get a live webcast this year. Which P.S. I am actually working on getting us one for the Atlanta round. So you're welcome. But I want to know what you thought about the track itself. You were telling me, we were talking about the technicality of it, and we were talking about like the log hill, how steep and that was. So kind of tell us about some of the obstacles and maybe what you thought was the most difficult one on the track.
Really, for me, everything was difficult just because I'm so new to it. So
understandable.
The entire thing was hard, but yeah, they used this year, I guess, a little bit bigger logs than normal, and they had like cypress trees and stuff, so it was huge, and they also made it harder from from the beginning of the day to the nighttime because of amateurs and stuff, so they can't make it as gnarly and whatnot, so everybody can kind of get around it. But I mean, the rock section's tough because you gotta not get stuck and just carry your momentum through it, and that seems to be like a little bit of the hardest things to do, especially when there's so many girls down. Is in the arena, that one was super tight, so it's like there wasn't as much room, and you have a couple girls down, and that becomes the most challenging part, is to maneuver around lines that nobody would really ever go because there's nowhere else to go.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, it's hard. It's kind of like a roller coaster. I mean, you have your ups and downs, but it seems like you just got to keep a momentum and just, get through the gnarly sections clean as you can.
Yeah, I noticed it seems to me that it's kind of like, okay, who can not wreck, who wrecks the least and can get around, and that's kind of where you determine the winner, is just who can get through the things clean, not so much in who rides it the fastest, but really who can make it through the obstacles the cleanest. Is that true, or?
Yeah, it is for sure, because I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee you're going down. It's just when you do go down, it's a matter of how much time you spend and just getting up and continuing, and like you said, just making the least mistakes that you can. So I definitely learned a lot from this week, and I'm glad I did it. Just like to have the experience, and now I know when I get home, I'm gonna make my track a little bit tougher, so I'll be ready. But they said X Games is gonna be a little bit better because they have a bigger area to work with, and of course, having more space makes it better also.
Yeah. What if now that you've kind of gotten the call and you're going to X Games and stuff like that, what kind of stuff have people told you about the event? Like, is there any kind of crazy, weird things that we should expect? Or, I mean, like, kind of like a lot of what we saw, do you think, with X Games Worldwide last year is what we're going to kind of see this year in Austin?
I think yeah, it's gonna be kind of like what you've seen. They actually have a track map and everything on their website. So nothing. I mean, it's always different in person. It doesn't look that bad, but it looks like they're gonna have the typical obstacles, and they said there's gonna be a little bit more jumps than there was the past ones. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get there.
Yeah.
Well, to change gears a little bit, Jessica, I know I've been wanting to ask you, what is it like going from the motocross series in the professional women's class to the GNCC series? Just kind of talk about that a little bit for us, what the transition was like, maybe in training, lifestyle, moving to the East Coast, whatever you've got. I'm sure people are interested in hearing what the...
Yeah, like you said, I've ridden moto my entire life, and I kind of dabbled around in it last year a little bit and did a couple races. I told Yamaha I was kind of interested in it, so of course they hooked me up with Randy Hawkins, and he gave me everything I needed to, pretty much prepare and let me do some of them, and I enjoyed them. It was something different to do, and it was very challenging. Just going from being where you race, 30 minutes max wide open, and then you go to that to where you need to kind of pace yourself, and I don't know, it's just not like I approached it as just going wide open. I thought I just had to go and leave everybody, and I would end up bouncing off of trees and making so many mistakes and crashes, and it wasn't that good the first few races, but I've learned a lot just staying there and riding with these guys, and just the whole change of pace of things has been quite challenging for me. So that's just it's just one of the hardest things I think for me is learning how to pace the race and not have to go wide open straight away, and being able, like, it's okay to follow people and to learn the track first.
Yeah, definitely.
So then, So then we moved, came back east, stayed here for a while, and things were going good, and decided I wanted to do this full time. So talked to, it was going to be my last year anyway with the WMX. I just felt like I accomplished everything I needed to do, and kind of, like I said, I dabbled around in it last year, and so this year I said, why not try to do this full time and give it a full commitment and see what I can do with it. And so moved back east, and been staying in Travelers Rest, where the whole crew is, and riding with Paul Whibley and Ricky Russell, and having Randy around and everybody like that is definitely a plus for me. Just being able to learn from guys like that know so much and that have obviously done a lot in their career and stuff like that, and they've been very, very helpful. And this year has gone a lot better, and just been enjoying it. It's just been going good. So had a couple bad races. Just one had a bike problem, and then the other one, this past one was going good. Me and Casey were battling with each other, and I just go to pass a lapper. It kind of landed on a rock, and it sent me into a tree, so that didn't end up well. So, but other than that, everything's been going really good, and I won another one this year, so I'm on the right path, I feel like.
Yeah, it looks like it. Tell us a little bit about what it's been like to be able to ride with Paul Whibley and Ricky Russell and the likes of all the guys over there, staying at the farm, because I bet that's a really good place to learn a lot about kind of off-road racing and riding and stuff like that.
Yeah, those guys are pretty gnarly. They get me to do some things that I really don't want to do sometimes, but it's definitely for the best. Those guys they're doing really good right now. Obviously Ricky's been doing awesome, and Paul's obviously won a lot of races himself, and yeah, like just being around those guys and being able to get points off of them and whatnot has been very helpful. I think, just riding with them, we have our different little programs that we do during the week, and then being able to ride with each other has helped a lot.
Very cool. Jordan, you spent some time at the farm, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. In 2011, I rode for Overmeyer and Pro and spent quite a bit of time at the farm.
Yeah, so what do you think? Would you have any advice for Ms. Patterson?
I don't think I have any advice. I could just agree with her that being there and riding with those guys and being in that atmosphere is incredible, and it's definitely helpful. They're helpful to the girls that are out there and riding and training, and they drag you along and make you train as hard as them and ride as hard as them and challenge you, and I think it's awesome and it's a great experience. And I think that those teams like that are bringing the girls on and encouraging them to jump in with the guys, and the guys that are taking the girls under their wing, I think that's helping the sport progress. And the women's side of it, I think that's a big part of it moving forward like it is.
Yeah. Well, Jessica, now that you're kind of, like you said, you decided to do this kind of full time, what are your thoughts on how the series is run and the racing and stuff like that from your perspective, having done the WMX and stuff like that, I believe that's still run by Racer Production. It's just the motocross side of things. So does it feel the same, or does it feel like a totally different, setup as you're kind of in and out of this series?
It's totally different. I mean, you know exactly what time you're racing, you race and you're done. So, that's the good part that I really like about it is, it's not dragged on all day. So, yeah, the same crew, MX Sports runs it, but I think everybody's good, is totally laid back. Everybody works well together, and everything runs pretty smoothly. There's some races where we have 500-700 people out there, so that's sometimes the toughest part of it all. But the transition of it has been fairly easy, with everybody, and I've got definitely a warm welcome over there, and a lot of familiar faces, just from so long, and people in MX Sports and whatnot. So
Right.
It's a good thing for sure.
Well, they just mentioned recently in a press release that they're going to start doing some serious drug testing for the outdoors, for the MX Nationals. I was wondering, there was a time, you've done the WMX, and with that, you've had a time, a lot of time around the outdoor nationals and stuff like that. Do you think that I'm glad they're doing it. I think as a professional sport, they just need to do it. There just needs to be a level set playing field. So, having said that, do you think that there's any underlying real reason that they need to start doing this drug testing?
I mean, I don't know. There's just so many questions, and people really don't even know. So I think it's good that they are doing it, so people do know, and they don't just accuse everybody of things that nobody really does know. So I'm glad that they are doing it, just to settle everybody's minds about it. But I think it's a good thing for the sport, regardless, to have it done and see what's going on. Just keep it all an even playing field.
Nice and level set. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I just was wondering, because I know that Tony Alessi, when he came on Pulp MX one time, was totally like, "There's a drug ring in MX Sports" and all this other shit. And I was like,
yeah, that's Tony.
That sounds a little crazy, but whatever, we'll go with it.
Yeah, he's a little crazy, but I don't know. You do, like I say, you have so many people that accuse people of things, and you don't really ever know. And I think, like I said, it's just gonna make it ease people's minds and keep it even. So.
Yeah.
Jessica, what was the biggest difference training-wise going from the Outdoor Nationals or the WMX Series to GNCCs?
What did you say, riding-wise?
Training and riding, I guess, could be.
Honestly, not that much. I try to. The only thing that I've done is maybe make some of my workouts a little longer. I try to keep them. I have my short days and my long days. I haven't done too much else to really to change it. I have a solid program, and I've been feeling great during my races, so I haven't changed it up that much, really. I think it's good also just for endurocross to have those short workouts that kind of spike your heart rate for that short time to keep you going, just so you're ready for that also. But even when you're racing GNCCs, you get in situations where you're stuck and you're using all your energy, and you're kind of just trying to get out of places, and your heart rate spiked right up. It's good to be able to have it spiked and come down and work and still go on for the duration of the time. So, like I said, I didn't really change much at all. I've kept my program the way it's kind of been, just maybe added in a couple days that might be a little longer than usual.
Awesome. And I was going to ask something else, and I totally forgot.
That's okay. You're just running the show like I do. I had so much.
Yeah, and I think it also just kind of doing some training days with Paul Wibley and stuff, he comes up with some crazy stuff. So that's helped out. Also, just being with those guys and learning, what they may have done. But, and I kind of added in swimming into my routine, which I really didn't swim much before. But like I said, other than that, everything's been pretty much the same.
Are there any specific rounds coming up? I know you did a couple last year, but any specific ones that you haven't done that maybe you're a little nervous about, here to talk about, that makes you a little nervous about racing?
There was this one I haven't done. The one that I did last week I haven't done before. There was a couple. I mean, I only did, I think, about 8 of them last year just because I had other obligations, with moto and stuff like that I had to do. So I'm not really sure. There's a couple coming up that I haven't done, but I'm excited because it's just totally new for me, and I like when I go to new places, but it's also good to have the experience out there also. But I think it'll be fine, and I enjoyed going to, I think I did Ironman last year, stuff like that. So there's probably the next few races I haven't done yet.
Cool. Yeah, I was just wondering, have you done West Virginia? Did you do that one last year?
What?
Snowshoe?
Oh yeah, I did. I did a half a lap there last year. I didn't have that great there either. So it started pouring down rain in that place. When it's pouring down rain, it's not that fun. So
that place usually isn't very fun anyways. Add the rain, and that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I love that place. I've talked about it many times, and I'm looking forward to the day that I can make it there and race and or ride on a dirt bike. I know if I go there, it's going to be riding while there's a race going on, but still, I've loved racing there on mountain bikes back in the day, so I would love the chance to get out there. I know that they have all those natural springs, which keep it pretty moist and wet. So I can imagine if it rains that place is pretty crappy.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. I mean, just like coming from moto and showing up to places like that where you have these gnarly rocks and all these rock gardens and stuff, I'm like, what do I do here? Like, I have no clue. So that was kind of shocking to me last year a little bit, is just like being not sure about much. So now kind of knowing what it's about, I'm not that nervous about it anymore. So I will look forward to that one, but it's not fun riding on wet rocks, though.
Well, get ready for X Games, because I'm sure there's going to be a couple rocks and they're probably going to get wet.
Oh yeah, they make it that way. They love it where you go through the little lakes that they make, and then you go through sand, and then it's either slippery logs or rocks. So I'll be expecting that. But yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we definitely. I know it took a little bit for us to get everything set up and kind of move everything along, and that's definitely just a fault of the fact that me being out of town and trying to get everything working. So, one, we appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely appreciate you taking the time to kind of help us work through all of that and get us all set up. Any other kind of like last lingering thoughts? Maybe something we didn't ask you questions on and stuff like that that would be good for all the viewers out there, that off-road enthusiasts.
Not really, but I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, if people are there at the race, definitely come by and don't be scared to chit chat a little bit or help give me some tips about something. That would help.
Right. Most of my tips just come in the form of how to drink better, opposed to when it comes to racing. But I'll share my knowledge. That's fine.
Oh yeah, that'll help.
Cool. Well, good luck at Loretta Lynn's this weekend. I know it's an interesting course from what I've heard, and maybe with the rain it'll be better. I don't know. I've never raced it, so yeah, just keep us up to date after the fact. Good luck, and keep swinging for the fences, because I know you're starting to pick up some points a little bit and move back towards the top. So good luck with that.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, cool. Well, you enjoy your evening, and thanks again for coming on the show.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Jessica.
All right. Thanks. See ya.
Sweet. So we've talked about it a little bit. Unfortunately, things maybe didn't go the exact way we wanted them to, and that's okay. I think that this is such an interesting forum. I love the fact that we get a chance to talk with these riders and really kind of see them in their habitat. I think it's a little bit different than just being on the phone. So if we have to kind of make it through a little bit of awkward moments to try to get these kind of shows put together, I'm totally okay with that. I hope that everybody out there is okay with that. Jordan, I really appreciate you taking the time as well to kind of help us ask a little bit more pertinent questions when it comes to being a woman involved in off-road racing. I know that I could fake a lot of questions and try to ask things, but I think coming from you and your perspective, it makes it a lot better. So I appreciate all that.
Ah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I try my best. I don't have that much perspective or that good of questions, but I do my best.
Nice. Well, I think you're fantastic, and the good thing is everybody loves watching you do push-ups. So.
Well, I guess we'll just keep doing push-ups.
If nothing else, I know I got a couple of texts too. I didn't get into too many too many tweets back. I know that we've got a couple of different people sending you some tweets, but I know Dale and a couple other people sent me texts like, "Dang it, how do you always get her to do push-ups?" I don't know. I just bring it up and she does it, so we just go with it.
I can't ever turn down a challenge, so. That's the key.
Well, so I'm gonna talk about some of obviously the end notes, if you will, for seat time of all that kind of sorts. But do you remember how I typically end the shows?
No.
All right. Well, afterwards I'm gonna let you end the show.
Oh, whoa, wait. Wait. First, do I need to announce who won this push-up competition?
If you've got a winner, let's do it.
Yeah. Gunpowder Racing posted a video on Twitter and in the chat room, which is double social media, so it's like got 2 times the amount of push-ups.
Boom.
And he knocked out some push-ups. I didn't get to count, but it was quite a bit more than me. So he's the winner. I hope it's a he. Gunpowder Racing. It was a he in the video.
He said it was for his wife. Yeah, I see it now in the chat room. So hopefully that means yes, that he is a male.
All right. So his wife is going to be very happy with Fly Racing's tank top that they gave away. Thank you, Fly, for the swag. You made someone very happy.
Absolutely. Well, cool. And I want people to realize that we're not completely giving up on the Pintful of Awesome award. It's just that Dale has enjoyed doing things a little bit different, having a little bit more fun with it. So I want to make sure you guys know to keep tagging all your pictures with Pintful of Awesome when you post them or when you're posting stories, things of your weekend and such like that, because I still aggregate those. I still look at those and find the good ones. And so those will keep coming back to us. We're just having a little bit more fun and changing it up a little bit. So I know that I appreciate that Fly is so thankful and so nice and so generous to us and to be able to give away product like that to our awesome viewers. So, again, they are definitely a supporter of Seat Time. I would encourage you to go to their website, to flyracing.com. If you are in a store and you're like, oh, man, I totally need some new gear, please check out the Fly Racing stuff. It's always good to ask questions. Like I said, I'm not asking you just to go out and purchase stuff. That's not what this is about. It's about a learning experience. I want you to go learn more about the product so that you feel educated on it, and that way you can make an educated decision on what you then purchase later on. Of course, I would ask you to do the same thing with Fast Company and Stillwell Performance, huge supporters of Seat Time. So with Fast Company, yes, I want you to purchase flex bars, but I want you to purchase them because I know that they're awesome and they help me a lot with the way that I'm riding. And of course, Stillwell Performance, definitely shoot over to their website at stillwellperformance.com. Get into their contact us forum and be like, guys, Seat Time says that you know how to fix all my suspension woes. Help! Lols, cats, or something, whatever kind of social whatever you want to put in there. They're going to get back to you. They're going to offer you discounts. Don't worry about that right away. Just ask them questions, and they're going to give you some great answers, and I know that they're going to be tips that you're going to be looking forward to having. So, of course, Seat Time. SeatTime.co is the website. That's kind of where we archive the show. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/SeatTime. Twitter, if you like to tweet us, we love to tweet. It is Twitter.com, and of course, we're SeatTime_CO there. We like to change it up. We are on Instagram, SeatTime, one word. If for some reason you would like the audio version of this, which you're more than welcome to have, we are on iTunes and Stitcher. There you would search for Seat Time, 2 words. You definitely want to have that space there between the seat and the time. It helps you find it a little bit easier. Of course, YouTube has all of our stuff archived. That's where we're at. Other than that, I don't know that there's many more social things out there. Are there more social things I'm forgetting, Jordan?
No. You can find me at jmill98.
Throwing out the Twitter. Is that Twitter and Instagram?
Twitter and Instagram, same name.
Dig it. I am the same. So if for some reason you would like to follow me, I am Woody B. Pierce. I'll even spell it for you because it's a little bit awkward. It's WOODYBEPIERCED. Obviously, I put pictures of my family, all that kinds of stuff. I'm a computer geek, if you will, big into responsive web development and all that kinds of fun stuff. So I've got all kinds of weird shit that pops up on my feeds.
Yeah, and I should also probably say that I don't post only motorcycle things, so.
Yeah. It's an interesting world we live in, isn't it?
Definitely.
Cool. Well, Jordan, I have to say I had a lot of fun. It was a great time being here for episode 126. We've got a chance to talk with Becca Sheets. Really cool chick. I learned a lot about her, actually. I hadn't ever had a chance to talk to her, so I'm really glad that we had her on the show. Jessica Patterson as well is a lady that I've never had a chance to talk to in person, even though I did say hi to her when I was there at Big Buck. But I appreciate you giving us the heads up on those guests, thinking those would be good guests to have on, and helping me co-host the show.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me. Is this where I now do the exit?
Yeah. This is your time to kill it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to fail. Here we go. And this is something seat time. Or no, sorry. See, I already messed up. Enjoy a pint full of awesome, something like that. Be responsible and ride your dirt bikes.
I have to say, I think it was beautiful. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See ya.